Marcus stood at the altar in a borrowed suit, his hands trembling as he watched the double doors open. His daughter Lily clutched his leg, her tiny fingers gripping the fabric like a lifeline. He was about to marry a woman he'd never met, a disabled billionaire named Elena Winters, all because he'd run out of options. His construction company had gone bankrupt after his wife's death, the medical bills had buried him, and now he was 3 months behind on rent. When Elena's lawyer appeared at his door with an offer, marry her for 1 year in exchange for complete financial security, Marcus felt his world both crumble and rebuild in the same breath. But nothing could have prepared him for what would happen when Elena rose from her wheelchair on their wedding day and spoke the words that would change everything. Before we continue with this incredible story, if you love heartwarming tales that remind us why kindness matters, please hit that subscribe button and join our Kindness's World family. Drop a like if you believe in second chances, and leave a comment telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your life. Now, let's get back to Marcus and Elena's unforgettable day. Marcus had exactly $14 in his checking account when Elena's proposal came. He'd been selling his furniture piece by piece, and that morning he'd skipped breakfast so Lily could have cereal. His pride had been stripped away month by month, bill by bill, and now he stood in the offices of Winters Industries, staring at a contract that felt like both salvation and surrender. Elena Winters was a name everyone knew. At 32, she'd built a tech empire before a car accident 2 years ago left her paralyzed from the waist down. The tabloids said she'd become a recluse. Her lawyer explained that Elena needed a husband for legal reasons involving her company's board of directors, and she'd chosen Marcus after learning about his situation through a charity organization. The wedding was small, held in the garden of Elena's estate. Marcus had never seen such wealth up close. Fountains sparkled in the afternoon sun, and white roses covered every surface. Lily wore a new dress that Elena had sent over, the first new clothing she'd had in over a year. As Marcus waited, his mind raced with questions. What kind of life was he giving his daughter? Was he any better than those men who married for money? Then the music started, and Elena appeared. She sat poised in an elegant wheelchair, pushed by an assistant, wearing a simple white dress that somehow made her look both vulnerable and powerful. Her dark hair fell in waves around her shoulders, and her eyes, when they met his, weren't cold or calculating like he'd expected. They were nervous. Scared, even. In that moment, Marcus realized she was as uncertain about this arrangement as he was. The ceremony was brief. The officiant spoke words about commitment and partnership that felt hollow given their circumstances. But when it came time for vows, Elena surprised everyone. She'd asked to speak first. Her voice was soft but steady as she looked up at Marcus and Lily. "I'm not asking you to love me," she said. "I'm asking you to let me be part of something real again. After my accident, everyone started treating me like I was broken. Like I was less than what I was before. But your daughter looked at me yesterday when we met, and she asked me if my wheelchair could do a wheelie. She didn't see disability. She saw possibility. That's what I want to remember how to do." Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. He delivered his own simple vows, promising honesty and respect, feeling like maybe this strange arrangement could become something bearable. But then came the moment that no one anticipated. As the officiant pronounced them married, Elena's hands gripped the arms of her wheelchair. Her knuckles went white. The assistant beside her gasped and stepped forward, but Elena shook her head. With visible effort and determination etched across her face, Elena began to rise. The garden went completely silent. Marcus watched, frozen, as this woman he'd just married pushed herself up from the chair. Her legs shook violently, her face contorted with concentration and pain, but she rose. She stood, wavering but upright, her hands still gripping the wheelchair for support. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at Marcus, at Lily, at the handful of witnesses present. And then she spoke, her voice breaking with emotion. "I could always feel my legs," she said. "The paralysis was never complete. But after the accident, after losing my fiancé who left because he couldn't handle my disability, after watching my company nearly fall apart, I convinced myself I was safer sitting down. That if I stayed in this chair, I could control who hurt me and how. But watching you, Marcus, agree to this marriage even though you're terrified, even though it costs you your pride, just to give your daughter a better life, that's the bravest thing I've ever seen. You reminded me that real courage isn't about protecting yourself. It's about standing up, even when you're scared of falling. She took one shaking step forward, then another. Marcus moved instinctively to catch her, and when his arms wrapped around her to steady her, it didn't feel like obligation. It felt like the beginning of something neither of them had planned for but both desperately needed. Lily cheered, clapping her small hands together, and the moment broke into laughter and tears from everyone present. Elena couldn't stand for long. After a few moments, she settled back into her wheelchair, exhausted but smiling wider than anyone had seen her smile in 2 years. The marriage that began as a transaction became something else that day. Marcus and Elena discovered that kindness isn't just about grand gestures. It's about seeing people for who they really are, not what circumstances have reduced them to. Over the months that followed, as Elena worked with physical therapists and Marcus helped rebuild her connection to her own company, they built something real. Lily had a mother figure who taught her that strength comes in many forms. Marcus learned that accepting help isn't weakness. And Elena discovered that vulnerability is the only path back to genuine human connection. Their story reminds us that sometimes life's most beautiful chapters begin with desperate choices and unexpected compassion. That when we choose kindness, even in arrangements that seem purely practical, we open doors we didn't know existed. Stand up for others, even when standing costs you something. Because you never know when your courage will inspire someone else to rise.